Ever wondered how much damage your bees do in Bee Swarm Ascended? What about the cactus bee? What about its ability? This video should answer almost all of your questions about your bees doing damage. If you check the bee dictionary, the third button out of the 6 buttons, you can see how all of the bees have a set damage value. Let's use basic bee as an example. We notice that it has attack 1, therefore it does 1 damage. This damage does scale with its level. At level 2, this bee would do 2 damage. At level 3, it would do 3 damage and so on. But what about baby bee? Since it has attack 0, it will deal 0 damage at all levels and will still try to attack mobs. Every bee uses this damage formula when they attack anything, taking into consideration the enemy's level 2. The bees need to have the same level or have a higher level than the mob they're attacking in order to damage it. So if you're trying to beat the watermelon crab with level 7 bees, none of the bees will be able to damage it. Level up 1 bee to level 8 so it can deal damage to the crab. What if you have Rampage active? What if you have 1 Rampage stack? What about 3 stacks? But what if you activate Stinger? What if you have the double bee damage game pass? It's simple, sort of. The formula isn't as easy to understand thanks to how the game is coded. The bee damage buffs are additive, so instead of multiplying with each other and getting to 32 times more damage, you can only get to 3.5 times more damage. It always starts from 1, which represents the base amount of damage your bees deal, 1 meaning 100%. For every Rampage stack, you add 0.5. If you have Stinger active, add another 0.5. If you also have the double bee damage game pass, add yet another 0.5. The final number of this equation will be used to multiply the final damage. If you have 3 Rampage stacks, your level 3 basic bee would deal 3 times 2.5 damage, aka 7.5 damage. Whether or not this gets rounded up or down is something I don't know. If you use a Stinger, the level 3 basic bee will deal 9 damage. If you also have the double bee damage game pass, it will deal 10.5 damage. Now that you understand how every bee does damage, let's talk about Bee Swarm Ascended's version of the vicious bee, the cactus bee. This bee has the highest damage in the entire game and its ability is the only one that can damage other mobs. Lots of people have asked on the game's Discord about its damage, me included, and I've decided to calculate it myself. How this was done is simple. I went into a field that had a tanky mob, like Mountaintop's chicken watermelon field's crab. Waited for the cactus bee move to a random flower instead of trying to fight the mob, which means that the bee is about to create its ability token. Leave the field, return to it, collect the ability token to damage the mob and note down the first damage, aka the topmost damage seen when you use the ability. We know the bee's damage scales with their level, so I've decided to use this in order to calculate cactus bee ability's damage, not knowing if it was the correct choice. The result of multiplying the bee level and the bee damage was used to find something else when I divide the noted number with it. For this noted damage, the result of the division is 12, but it really isn't too helpful to me as it can mean anything, so I noted down another damage and apply the same procedure to it. Notice that the results have something in common. They're both multipliers of 12, which means I'm very close to finding out the formula. This number also represents the bee's damage, so it's safe to assume that it was squared up in the formula. I further divide the number with 12 and get even smaller numbers. These are very small numbers that sadly don't represent anything for now, so I note more damages and do the same thing to them, only to end up with numbers that are very close to each other. These numbers are surely part of a variable that gets random values between 1 and 5 which are used to get random amounts of damage. Fortunately, it's only values without decimals, so the only values it could take are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. One more thing, every bee benefits from being ascended. In Bee Swarm Ascended, ascending a bee is the same as gifting a bee in Bee Swarm Simulator. In this game, they gain 1 more damage, 2 more speed, twice the conversion rate and an ability. The only thing that made me concerned was the damage increase. Although insignificant, I wanted to make sure if ascended cactus bee's ability is affected by it, considering the bee's damage is increased by 1. Fortunately, it doesn't affect the damage's ability. Thank you your boil for helping me with this one. But if it did, the developer would have to use this number to even out the calculus so both the ascended and regular cactus bees would deal the same damage. Excel truly is a blessing. Now, for the final formula, you have it on the screen right now. It's the bee's level, times 12 to the power of 2, times a random value between 1 and 5, times 1 plus half of the sum of your Rampage stacks. We add to the sum 1 if you have Stinger and another 1 if you have the double bee damage game pass. If you wanted to mess around with it, I've added an Excel link to it with the formula, You just need to select your bees level, set the random value to any value between 1 and 5, and check a few conditions to true or false based on your scenario. But, how much damage can Cactus Bee truly do? Let's just set the level to 25, set the maximum random value to 5, set the rampage stacks to 3 and set the other ones to true. Now, that's indeed a lot of damage. Assuming that we have an ascended Cactus Bee, we can instantly kill the watermelon crab with one ability. I hope you found this video informative and useful in your journey of killing mobs very quickly in Bee Swarm Ascended. Thanks again to your boyo for helping me with the regular Cactus Bee's damage, and thank you for watching this video. The next video will be a tier list on every single bee from Bee Swarm Ascended, and I'll do my best to not be biased, so feel free to subscribe to not miss it out.